Hello. We are Nerds of the West. Thank you so much for joining us. We are reviewing Nemesis Lockdown, the 2022 reskin, remake, sequel, more of the Nemesis game system from Awaken Realms. My name is Tom. We have Chris.
Hi.
We have Jimmy.
Hello.
And we have a Reese.
Hello.
And we have just done a, 4 and a bit hour marathon game of Nemesis Lockdown.
Bruh.
So we are going to go through all our thoughts on the game, compare it a little bit to the original, try and give you an idea of what this kind of game is and if it is right for you. At the end, we are going to rank it on our Nerds of the West ranking board. We don't try and say that one game is necessarily better than another, just if given the opportunity, what we would prefer to play. I would like to start, as I always do.
Well, before you do, Tom, if you would like to be here live and watch us play and also give your thoughts, you can be one of these lucky people in chat. Say hi, chat. Come visit us at twitch.tv/nerdsofthewest. And don't trust chat's lies because they see in the past and not in the future. You'd get that if you were here.
I like to start.
Sure.
I like to start. No, you're good. I like to start with the art. Art is kind of the first thing that you see. It is the first thing that grabs you, and this game's box art is pretty great.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. It is scary. It is just all round.
I actually
all-round
really
good.
like the art and the detail, right?
These minis.
This could have easily, like, the minis are beautiful, right? And these are like really well made as well.
Blue screen it.
Yep. Hello, there he is. There's that handy dandy boy. I'll move these cards out of the way. Some of the art is sort of a little drab on some of the ancillary cards, but like I think like, you know, some of the other cards are also pretty good. Though I will say, when it comes to like the board, it's very. There's a lot. There is a lot. Like this, I wouldn't sell someone on this on the board.
I get what you're saying from a art perspective. From a design perspective, it's a very well set out board.
Sure.
Everything is very clear as to where everything is, which is one of the few clear things about this game.
Yep.
Is that you know, all right, this is number 2, this is where this room is. All the tiles are actually quite well laid out. I like the twisting for items mechanic.
I think it uses the space well.
Yeah.
You know, this could have definitely had a lot more added to it, which would have been worse.
Yeah. Component quality.
Component quality is pretty good. Once again,
I would
like
say so, yeah. But even the cards, like the texture
Yeah.
of the cards is nice. Even some of the more basic, like kind of tokens, you know, they're serviceable. They do what they intend to do.
It doesn't need anything more than that, and you can also then still see the thing that is underneath it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, that matters. It's just kind of nice.
yeah, it is a bit of an improvement over the first one because these were just chits in the first one.
Is that a
yeah.
Kickstarter upgrade, or is that the base game?
I don't believe so. I don't remember. I think the only upgrade I got was to get the stretch goals. So it could be an upgrade, but like the chits didn't come with this either.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I backed this like 2-3 years ago, and then like got it 6 months ago, and then we played it today. So it's been a while since I actually saw what
You
with
actually
it.
paid for.
Yeah, which is like most of my Kickstarters.
I love the contamination mechanic. It is a fairly mechanically simple, not the mechanic itself, but putting red text on red letters or blue text underneath the red symbols. But it works. You can't try and game that stuff. It shows up when it needs to. It's very easy.
But
But it's still feeling your hand
Yeah.
without being able to see it without sitting there staring and obviously doing it.
Yeah.
Like, you still getting that full hand, which is that crippling effect like in Dominion and stuff, like, you know, other card games that
That
don't.
really hurt your later turns.
So then we have to talk about the things that all that art influences and all the choices you have to make in the gameplay. The actual choices you face in this game, it's definitely a win or lose choice. There's not I can strategically try and do this. And while you have to consider that the enemy might be doing something else, most of the time you are railroaded into, I need to either escape right now, I need to either fight right now. You don't actually ever, there's I feel the best way to put it is there's never any choice in good moves. There's just choice in lots of wrong moves.
There's just a choice. Yeah, it's like everything has a consequence. You fight, you get contaminated. You shoot, you run out of bullets for later.
You move, you bring more aliens on.
You move carefully, you just delay the inevitable.
It's almost like you're not even versing the aliens, right? You're versing each other.
You're versing the time limit that it puts on you. Not in the sense that there's 15 turns. It's you have 20 moves before you get hit too many times and you die.
Bro, I'm so conflicted. Because when this game was good, it was really good. But when it sucked, it fucking sucked.
Well,
that's where I'm
That's
at.
kind of the Ameritrash system in a nutshell. I know Ameritrash seems like a harsh word, but that is the style of game that it is.
Yeah.
It is, let's throw a bunch of mechanics together so you can have a bunch of things happen, and then some of those things are going to be good and some of those things are going to be bad. There isn't a designed gameplay in here. There's just a bunch of stuff thrown together, and then you experience some kind of threat because of it.
And I think my issue with this is it throws too much, like way too much. And it's such small things, but the small things affect like the biggest like gameplay things, right? It's like, with the vent, right? I missed the vent. The icon's so small on the card that I'm just like, oh, it's fine. But that affected such a huge portion of the game.
You showed your hand because of that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But if there wasn't so many things in the game, they would have to design it better so that everything interacted better. It's a weird design philosophy of there needs to be all these different things in, so all these different things can happen, and it covers up for the fact that there are holes in the system.
Yeah, it sort of feels like the mechanics are like just patching up the base mechanics.
It's almost like, you know that there's like the repair liquid that you can put in stuff, like it will go and like fill the holes in the tub so then you can put water in it.
Yeah. Flex Seal.
It's Flex Seal.
This is the Flex Seal of games.
Yeah, there are holes in the game in the sense that you can do everything right and then still lose.
Yeah.
There are holes in the game in the sense that you can do what you're supposed to do and not get the result you're supposed to get. There isn't cause and effect. There's just cause causing more cause, causing more cause, and then dealing with random effects because of it.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's literally just putting out fires.
Yeah.
Like, not in the sense of there's fires on the
not
board,
literal
but
fire.
like at the end there, where we're trying to get through to just get that signal off and then get out. Everything we did was spawning something. It's just like you just can't get through it.
There was a moment you and I were both in the isolation room. We had just defeated the only remaining alien there, and from that point, it was a clear two-turn move, activate, get your wisdom. We get back into the isolation pod and we jettison, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, every single time you take an action in the game, even if it's a good action or the action that you're supposed to take, somehow an alien will come and it will, infect you, or it will deal damage, and there's basically nothing you can do to stop that or to avoid it.
And so here's where it gets difficult for me to decide if I like this or not, because that is the intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that I've just said isn't a bad thing for this style of game. That is this style of game.
Yeah.
It's just that it's not necessarily the kind of game I'd play all the time.
Yeah.
If you ask me what Ameritrash game I want to play, it's always going to be Battlestar Galactica, and that is a far better designed game than this, which means trying to compare this to anything else is hard. I will say I enjoy Nemesis far more than I enjoy Dead of Winter.
Yeah.
Hard,
I will say this handles like the traitor mechanic, because then everyone's traitors, right?
Potentially.
We could all potentially be traitors.
But it's also like in Dead of Winter, the traitor just needs to hold out until the end and then be like, well, jokes.
Because
this, you need to hold out until the right time, and even then you're still not guaranteed to win.
It's also in Dead of Winter, your goals never made sense to who you were playing.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? And thematically, this game ticks so many boxes and works on so many levels, and I love this game from a thematic point of view.
Lots of the mechanics really fit the theme.
Yeah. To me, I want to say bloated. Like, I want to say this game.
I don't even know if it is. That's the problem.
I feel it's bloated. I don't know. You and me keep fighting over how we feel about games.
But it's how we feel rather than.
I'm a bitcher with the stick, man.
I'll just mute your microphone. Don't worry about it. I don't know if this game is bloated. It's just that it's not elegant. There are mechanics that are doing similar things, but they need to be different, and therefore they need to exist in conjunction with each other. You need both attack and event cards, but a separate sort of game would have attack and event cards be the same thing, but have it be top and bottom of the card is event, top and bottom of the card is attack.
Coming from the having set it up, and Chris was here. Like you were here, you were working on the computer. But Chris was here watching me set it up last week, and through reading the rules and learning the rules this week, that was a really frustrating and long, tedious process.
Yeah.
And I get this is a long game, and that's where I'm coming from, that it's bloated. It's like the setup, it took us over an hour to set the game up. And then you got
Took me 10 minutes to die.
Yeah, it took you 10 minutes to die. Took me like 40 minutes to explain the rules. Then we got in and we still did not let go of the rule book.
Yeah,
And that's where I'm like, it's bloated because there's too many rules, there's too many things.
I feel like this is a better game to learn as you play in some ways, once you have the basic knowledge. Having like a better reference card, I think, would actually fix it.
Yeah.
Like your character card being like, draw up to 5 action cards. That's at the beginning of the player phase, not each round. So like, I've nearly made that mistake literally turn 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just be like, at the begin, like you add more phases, put a better reference card, and that way you don't need to spend 40 minutes at the start of the game breaking down a game, like how to play. Because in some ways, it's just like, what actions can you do? What do cards do is self-explanatory, and then you just go from there.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Me and Tom have been talking a lot. You guys talk a bit, and then I'll
Talk now.
Yeah, say things.
Like, I enjoyed it. I think I had a much more enjoyable experience than poor Tom did, and even
I didn't have a bad experience. Let me be clear.
No, yeah,
I
yeah.
died in an absolutely chaotic RNG way, and that is what this game is.
yes.
For a lot of people, that's going to be bad. For some people, that's going to be good. It's just the fact that there's then another 4 hours that I can't play.
The case I want to make, like, okay, so let's start on that first, right? Any game where you can be eliminated and then you're just out,
Yeah.
and is also potentially 4.5 hours long, in my personal opinion, that's not a good game design, because there have been games which we've played recently where once you get eliminated, you either respawn, or you get to be a Cylon, or you at least keep playing with your friends.
Especially
as you
coming
go.
from Fight the Blight.
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
Where,
right.
where they ideally much smaller card game, but they address that by not having you
They give you a literal
be
chance
eliminated.
to get back in, right?
But
When you're a zombie.
Yeah.
you
It's
can
hard
come
for me
back in.
because part of the charm of this game is that threat is there.
Yeah, sure. But in the way that you were eliminated.
Whether or not that's enjoyable is a separate
You
discussion.
took every single good action there was to try and run, evade, fight back. And I mean, I took a picture with my phone because there was like 3 aliens, 16 noise tokens, 4 fire tokens. Like, you just got totally destroyed.
And that's hilarious.
But, yeah, it's funny. But then, like, you sat there for like 3 hours running stream with us, and
It's-
like you've got a good spirit.
also
It's just
that-
the knowledge that can happen in this game.
Yeah.
It's also the thing is, I felt, I wasn't in the situation, right? I was just watching it unfold. But I felt the game was punishing you for trying to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
And it was either I stand here, fight, take hits, and probably die anyway,
Yeah.
or run away
And there's
And potentially-
uncertainty.
and then run into all of these things. And then it's also the fact that the game is also pushing for people to finish early, right? It's giving you the options of launching off, of going to the bunker, to locking yourself in the room. As soon as you're done, oh, well, I'm going to finish and fuck off.
Yeah.
But then you guys still got to get shit done. So, all right, am I going to watch you guys? Because I've left.
escape.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I going
because
to watch you guys
finished your objective?
for the rest of the half a game? Like, you know, some of that stuff was easy. My other objective was to explore all of this and explore all the top. I could have easily just got that knocked out of the way and then gone, all right, well, I'm going to leave now.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for the fires, I think that's actually where it really hurt Tom at the beginning of that game. Like, because if the fires weren't there and like you decided, bugger, I'm going to commit and fire on a full hand that was no contamination cards in your hand, that's 5 hits that you could potentially get. That if you were incredibly lucky, 10 hits.
Yeah.
But you could try and fight it out, hope for the best, and then bam, like maybe you get lucky on a health point reveal for a queen, and the queen dies.
Yeah, exactly.
It's entirely possible, but yeah, I think the RNG, what Reese is saying about like if you died early or get out early, like you've had a success, but
The
no, you
game
gotta wait.
is...
It's a long game.
It's a long game and it is punishingly difficult. For some people, that's going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
Some people, that is what they're looking for in a game. It's a
Yeah.
challenge. For other people...
And yeah, that's where. Sorry, I keep cutting it. That's where I'm like really conflicted because I'm like, once again, I had fun.
Yeah.
I had fun. I enjoyed this. I do not regret my purchase. I don't know when I'm gonna pull this out.
I was about to say, this is a game that I might play once a year.
Yeah.
At the most.
Yeah. Like I want to get Lachlan wanted to play this, Kai wanted to play this. I'd love to get another group together and play this. But I'm also like,
So this lockdown, if we're going to compare it back to the original, is more punishing. The original, I believe, you could just get in an escape pod and then take an action to launch it.
Yeah.
Not only is there a countdown that is then, excuse me, making your life harder as the energy disappears, another mechanic to manage and take up turns to do so. You are then maybe in the wrong pod, in the right pod. The pod you're playing around disappears.
Yeah, you've got the power depleting. You've got maybe the right or wrong pod going. You have the contingencies to also think about. So suddenly we're going to be like, even if we do everything correctly, are we still gonna?
Yeah, you could still crash and burn.
You know.
I think I actually like the pod launching system. I think you suffer a serious injury if the pod doesn't launch.
I
don't like that. But aside from that, like I actually like that.
I like
time.
the threat of them disappearing. I don't like the threat of being on the wrong pod.
Yes, see, I like that time tracker as well. I like that pressure in this game.
To win this game, you kind of need to have your objective in mind, what you're going to do to complete it, and how you're going to escape. If you're going to need to escape by an escape pod, the fact that the escape pod escaping is then RNG feels like too much to me.
Yeah, and that's where it's like it's too much on too much on too much, right? There's too many boxes that you have to tick, and then even if you guys like Chris could have been lying, right? That's totally not the contingency or whatever.
He didn't actually need to live.
You didn't even know the contingent. Like, say you didn't even know the contingency. You just needed to send a signal. You guys could have done all of that, and then gone, cool, we made it, we got out of here, and then get to the end, contingency, kill everyone that locked themselves in the isolation room. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, sick.
I don't mind the idea of it.
I feel like
just on top of so much other things.
That could totally be a defeat that would then be like, well, fuck this game. Like, you know?
True. Yeah.
I think if I was going in to play this game, like I knew I'm going around somewhere to play Nemesis, I'd take something as a backup.
Yeah,
like, not necessarily like a card game or anything like that. Like even just having a phone and like some videos loaded up. Really.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
well, as Morgan Moon said,
Yeah,
right? You almost need a second short, casual, plausible game on hand, in case you get knocked out, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just like
Yeah.
it goes for so long. And I'm not saying like a normal game time will go for 4 hours, but the game time on the box is what,
3 hours.
60 to 180 minutes.
Yeah.
And then your first game always goes longer because you're still learning. 3 hours is
so here's the
still-
thing. A first game always goes longer because you're still learning, because you don't know the rules properly yet. You will never fully grok the rules to this game.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You will never remember everything. You'll always have to be check stuff.
Yeah. And I can guarantee, like, me stuffing up with the vent, I can guarantee that's not the only stuff up that we did.
Yeah.
Like,
I reckon resetting the light wounds tracker is actually probably a mistake. I reckon once if you're at 2,
If you're on
and
a
you
light
get
wound, then get a serious wound. It
I
should-
think it stays where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
but-
we just like,
House rules.
we needed to
Yeah.
have
Otherwise,
a chance.
this game would have been
right?
over like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
I mean, it's not as like, what is it, Ghost Stories? It's not
yeah,
Ghost
it's
Stories.
not Ghost Stories
right?
punishing.
Fuck
But Ghost Stories is
in the
trying to be
pit.
punishing. This is trying to be entertaining. So when we're then ranking it on the board, if you can help me lift
Yeah,
this bad
I
boy.
gotcha.
So this is our
watch
board as
glasses.
it currently sits. Sorry, it needs to be like here.
Here. Yep.
Yep.
You got it. Yep.
This is our board as it currently sits with, more Euro-style games sitting at the top. It's a struggle for me because I think this game succeeds at being what it wants to be. It's just whether or not you enjoy that style of game is the issue. I don't, so this goes above Reload for me, but not far above. But that's on personal preference, not that the game is bad.
Yeah. Well,
I will play 3 games of Terra Mystica instead of playing this.
Yeah, right.
Which we nearly did at the start.
yeah. Well, that's for me. I'm like, I would give it like a 5 or a 6, which is above Reload for me.
Oh, but this game's an easy 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
For you. Yeah.
I just don't want to play it that much.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Jimmy?
6 to 7 for me.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed Dune Imperium. I would play that over this multiple times.
I
Any
would.
day of the week.
Any day.
Absolutely.
Someone's like Dune Imperium or Nemesis. What? Just Dune Imperium, buddy.
Exactly.
Power Grid. Pull that out. Let's go.
Can't really comment on the other ones, so look, above average. I do like the game style. I actually like the minis are nice. I do like the pressure that the game puts you under, and the difficulty is fine. But setting up, reading rules constantly, and having to rules check frequently. That's a damp enough for me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'd say about. Look, I'll go 7. About 7.
7.
Yes,
Yeah, I would put it above Reload, just probably 7 or so.
Yeah.
It's very, very fun, and I did enjoy it, and I think I benefited from having an exciting experience because, I didn't die right away, and, I was kind of working with someone to the very end in a very sort of movie-esque fashion.
I was so looking forward to trying to kill you.
Right?
It's going to be hilarious.
And you missed your chance.
I was like, all right, what if I can convince them to get in the isolation room and then I can swap it so everyone in the isolation room dies? It'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
My major criticism of the game is that a lot of it is RNG dependent, and yes, that's true. You're basically flipping cards whenever something needs to be resolved, and it's just the number. And also the aliens suffered from that too, because I can't tell you how many turns that queen spent moving back and forth and up and down and right.
That adult.
When we got an adult up to what, 7 health, and then it was just like, I was going to disappear.
And they survived all the time, right? I don't know, why there wasn't something in place where, the aliens move in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
Right? I suppose they followed
Because they'd be too much of a threat.
Right? Because as soon as the queen killed you, then we were on this side of the board, the queen was on that side of the board, and the odds are that it's going to move one step forward, one step back. So it was basically
But it also locks you off from that section of the board. Just the queen existing over there meant the laboratory was no longer in play.
But we could have gone and stun locked
We could have
the queen.
waited for her to cook a bit and then gone and attacked.
It's also the laboratory did nothing.
Yeah.
It's really interesting as an idea.
It's a cool
make
concept.
it harder, easier
But
to work
why
with.
is it here?
Yeah.
Right? And then
More RNG.
Could-
More
you want-
RNG means that there is more chance for something to happen, and that's about it.
You want more RNG? Sometimes you cannot do your quest because the rooms are randomized.
Yeah.
There's rooms still in the box because they don't all go out.
I need 8 knowledge to activate my thing, and
So,
my ability is choose any intruder on the board, even in a room with another character, move the chosen intruder through a chosen corridor, then flip this card back to the quest side. I guess that means I can only use it once.
So an enormous payoff, right? And then you're effectively
Not even.
to
You just
move an
move
alien
someone
one
once.
time.
Yeah.
Right.
But that could also mean I set someone up to die. Oh, their turn's done. They've passed. I'm near
move
with an
a
enemy.
thing into there.
I'll move them in there. I want them dead.
Yeah.
But
that's
I can
fair
only do it
enough.
once.
Yeah.
I've got the
But,
for my quest item, the assault rifle. I've got to go to the repository unless it's the last room that we.
Yeah,
it's
never
not
found
here.
it.
3 rooms
So
there, yeah.
why do I have a quest item? I'm getting punished for RNG
So, yeah,
before I
but
even start the game.
That's the point I want to make, is that there's a lot of RNG in the game, and there's nothing wrong with RNG in a game.
Yeah.
For a game that I think it tried to present itself as this is crunch time, what's your strategy?
Yeah.
There was too much RNG,
Yeah.
even for the bad guys, to have a game which made sense.
They're using RNG to cover up for design choices.
Yeah. Once
Perhaps that was it, but-
again, here's the core game, and then they're using mechanics to patch the
Yeah.
holes, and then that's causing more holes.
That's causing entertainment sometimes.
Yes.
I love the discard to do an action. I am totally down.
Yeah,
that was
that's
cool.
I love
that was a
Yeah.
strategic. It's like,
Yeah.
here are my cards. I don't need this one as much as the other, so I'll use that one. Suppose it was like you have to shuffle your hand and discard a card at random, right? Well, that's essentially most of the other components of the game asking you to do that, right?
Yeah.
And when you move, roll a dice, you might spawn an alien, you might not. Every time you dip into the bag, oh, sweet, Chris totally dodged every attack that there ever was. Whereas Tom, got destroyed within the first half hour of the game.
I think
It's an RNG heavy game, and you're either going to enjoy that or you're not.
Yeah. So,
I'd
but-
play it again,
I'd play it again at some point.
but I'd
that-
bring something as a backup.
Yeah. That is our thoughts on Nemesis Lockdown. Let us know what you think down below, or come and hang out with us in the future on twitch.tv/nerdsofthewest. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you next time.